Are we live? It's hard to say. All right, I just clicked it on Instagram. We're good?
We're good.
Boom. Madeline just said, Sam, you're live. All right, everybody. It is the eve of, or I guess the 30-minute countdown before the biggest game in 20 some odd years for the Samford Bulldogs. Grant, a lot of nervous energy in the house right now. Doing everything I can to keep busy, worked a little later, took my time putting the baby down, made a fire. Still very nervous. How are you?
I haven't done any of those two things, but I'm still the same amount of nervous as you are. So,
yeah, we're waiting on Jeb. He is actually in Salt Lake. We sent one person from the team. He is credentialed. It's our first NCAA credentialed event, which is pretty awesome. Or NCAA championship event, which is pretty awesome. But he can't stream inside the stadium, or else we get fined. Now, I don't know who they would be fining.
Yeah.
He supposedly had to prove proof of employment, which I don't know how he did that.
Here's my Twitter account with my name on it.
Yeah, but nonetheless, he has to work his way outside the stadium, assuming that he's not just engrossed in the Gonzaga blowout at the moment. But I mean, the biggest upset just happened 5 minutes ago. Kentucky going down. Hopefully, it's not the last blue team to go down tonight, Grant.
I know the last big blue blood to go down to. We need one more to kind of go their way. Maybe, I don't know, who can have the Alex Goki performance like that Oakland guy who just shoots threes and not twos. I think he's only attempted 2 threes on the year.
Dang. And he just went off?
Sorry, no, I messed it up. He's only attempted 8 twos on the year, and he just shoots threes all the time. He doesn't take any twos. Yeah, he's taken 360-something shots, and he's taken 350-something threes. He
sounds
twos.
Perfect for buckyball. Does he need to hit the portal? I mean, come on.
I saw he was a senior, but who knows in this day and age, right? We talk about who knows.
In the grad, yeah. No, that's amazing.
Maybe we need to put a package together for him. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. We got bigger things to worry about right now, but yeah.
Yes, we do. We talked about it at our kind of our selection Sunday show. I said the key to victory tonight would be injuries. Needless to say, the biggest injury for Kansas was the how do you say his name? McCullough?
Yeah, Kevin McCullough. Yeah, McCullough.
Yep. And the moment that he was announced that he's still out, I got hope. Now that hope is driving the nervous energy, right? Hunter Dickinson is still there, and to Mike's credit, so Mike, for everybody watching, we're going to do a halftime show, and then if we win, we'll do a post-game show. But if we lose, we just need to sleep it off, wake up, and it's baseball season. But to Mike's credit, who will be joining or should be joining at halftime, he was praising Hunter Dickinson. I've started to get on that bandwagon a little bit, but 3 games that I pulled up, Grant, 3 games, and like we had talked about, he hasn't played every game since, right? Or in the past few games. He's played a few, but not every single one. There is hope for Samford because even when he's going off, a lot of the other guys do not step up, especially from 3. Let me just read you this BYU stat line. All right, so this was a game that they lost at home. BYU had won 76-68. Hunter Dickinson was their leading scorer or close to it with about 16 points. His season average is 18. All right, so you ready for these 3-point stats? They're amazing.
Yeah, hit me.
0 for 2, 0 for 5, 1 for 6, and then 2 guys 1 for 1. 3 made threes out of 15. If Kansas is going to win tonight, and Jack Gold, to his credit, tweeted this out just 30 minutes ago. His prediction was if Hunter Dickinson is under 20, Samford has a shot. If Hunter Dickinson is under 20 and Jaden Campbell and AJ combine for 30, Samford probably wins. That's how I interpret it. It's not quite what he said. But looking at that stat line, we can it's kind of like a UNCG where you can kind of let the big man eat. and still come away with a chance of victory.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot with Samford, especially over conference play. Like we talked about, okay, if Woolbright goes off and you limit the other guys, you give yourselves a great chance to win. They did that up in Coloway. I can't remember how many points he had off the top of my head, but they did the same thing. So that's kind of like the recipe going in. You can let one guy get his, but you can't let guys like Johnny Furphy, who's 6'9", can shoot from the outside over 35% from three. Like if he gets going, that could be an issue, especially with McCullough being out.
So on the flip side, Grant, the other game that I pulled up was the Kansas State game. Now, this was a game, I pulled up 3 games. I excluded the Houston and Baylor game. They're kind of just on a different level. But Kansas won this game 90-68. Hunter Dickinson again goes off for about 15, 16 points. But the other guys also stepped up. Most notably, Nicholas Timberlake, the guy replacing the injured McCullough. He was 6 for 7 from the field, but most importantly, Grant, 4 for 5 from 3. Now, his season average is a little bit less than McCullough. He shoots about 287 from 3, so he's not exactly out. It's like Hunter Dickinson may go off, and if one or two guys also combine to score with him, then Kansas is obviously very good.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, especially. Hey, you mentioned Timberlake. That was the most threes he made all year in one game. He was 4 or 5. He played 23 minutes. So I mean, he does have that chance to get hot. And in his last stop at Towson, he shot over 42% from 3. So he can get hot at the right time, depending on how many minutes he played. He will play, and obviously with McCullough being out, like we keep mentioning, he's another guy. If you let him and Furphy go like 3 of 5, whatever, to combine to start the first half, it's like, oh no, Samford could be falling behind.
Dude, if some guy named Johnny Furphy goes off and he's the reason we lose, like, look, I can stomach
he's so good
a loss at the hands of Dickinson. He is. Yeah, he's a 6'9" freak. I get it. But the name kills me. Furphy. I mean,
yeah, he's a 36% shooter from 3. Made 3 in the Houston win at home, but he has other chances to get hot. Made 3 against Oklahoma, so he's kind of like that last piece. And he's had a big February too. He's been playing a lot of good basketball, so we'll see another guy that could get hot, which could be trouble for Samford.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of as we've been able to stew on the game. I'm not going to say that we're at the mercy of Kansas. Like I don't think that we have a 0% chance without them giving us the game, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I do think if we execute at a high enough level, especially just making enough threes, we don't even have to be that efficient from 3. I think we just have to make – I mean, this is a little aggressive, but if we shoot 8 threes, if we make 8 threes,
yeah,
I like our odds. If we shoot them efficiently, I think if we're like 8 for 12, we win the game.
Yeah.
But – it is a little, as we've studied, it's still a little scary that while we might not know some of the names of these Kansas players, maybe they're not the Hunter Dickinson, the McCullers, they can all still pop. And that's kind of the hairy thing about playing a Power 5, Power 6 team is, our bench guys, they couldn't play at a Power 5, Power 6 level. These guys on the bench, some of them might play G League. And in the SoCon, I mean, a G League player could win Conference Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? So that's still scary. And we don't know what we're going to get. It's the NCAA tournament. We just watched Kentucky. Kentucky really didn't even lay that much of an egg. Oakland was just hot.
Yep.
And then you watch the Texas game, Texas-Colorado State. The halftime score is 26-11 or 28-11. I mean, ugly. And Kansas, they can play ugly. But man, if we're not hitting for 3, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, talking about that Texas game, I saw Goki for Oakland made 10 threes. Meanwhile, in the Texas and Colorado State game, they made a combined 7. Made a combined 7 threes.
That's terrible. I mean, I think they even said that on the broadcast where that one guy had outscored the entire outshot from 3 both teams. That is a crazy stat. Yeah. Oh man. Neither one of us like Texas.
Colorado State, they got the Virginia virus from the first 4 game where no one could throw in the ocean on Virginia. Is obviously playing Virginia basketball. So
Okay, yeah, hold on. Let's check out this feature. So David, what's up, David? Just made a comment. Can we show the comment? Oh, that's sick. All right, so yeah, as long as we don't look like Virginia.
Amen.
Facts. Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can make a basket. But I was talking to my brother earlier, Grant. That I think is what I'm most nervous about is the last time that we were really hyped up against a Power 5, Power 6 opponent was Purdue. Now, obviously, it's the first game of the season. A lot of it was kind of a joke with Dallas Graziani tipping off against Zach Edey. But, I mean, look, deep down, and once again, Jack Gold called us out on it. That was the famous little blur from the podcast that Samford Basketball tweeted back at him in that hype video where we really thought we had a chance to keep it close, and we got dunked on. I mean, lost by 40 points. Didn't have a prayer. And you know what happened in that game, Grant? We didn't make threes.
We couldn't throw in the ocean. No.
Could not hit a basket.
Started like 2 for 14 or something like that. Something to that effect where they didn't. Like, I don't even remember how many threes we made in that game. But obviously, the first game of the year, new guys mixing all those guys in. But yeah.
So how are we feeling? How do you think they're going to come out? Because I think the way we come out is much more important than how Kansas comes out.
Yeah,
if we come out cold, might not even be having a halftime show.
Yeah, especially with Kansas, they'll have thousands and tons of fans there. So if you kind of get them out of the game early, and Kansas can have or Bill Self can have their standard, oh gosh, the other team won an 8-2 run. We need to call a timeout to get everything together. That's really what I want to see. Samford hits like 2 or 3 threes earlier than Bill Self does that standard. 17 minutes left on the game clock. On the first half clock, and he called a timeout trying to set those guys down. It's like my favorite thing to watch when he's coaching a game. If the other team gets hot, he's like, "Oh, screw this. We're calling timeout. We're starting this over." So if we see something like that, I'll be like, "Okay, let's go. We're gonna be in this one." Yeah.
Grant or Jeb just sent a text, so he's definitely not going to be joining. He's in the, I guess, walkway of the locker room with the team right now. Look, somebody needs to tell him to get on his little Instagram story and start posting some of this stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Because he really is behind the scenes in a way that even the Samford fans there don't have access to. I just want to know how many fans showed up. I see on Twitter there's quite a bit. I saw everybody posting their Salt Lake City flight, I saw your brother with his nice view of the city.
Who? Yeah. I don't know who that is. Yeah, who? Who? Yeah. Yeah, major FOMO vibes over here sitting in Birmingham, Shelby County compared to being in Salt Lake. But
Oh, dude, same.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, I was sitting there trying to figure out how I could possibly get out to Salt Lake. It just was not feasible. But by golly, if we win the game, I mean, maybe we drive tomorrow.
Help we get on the
23 hours or however long it is.
That or I drive to Atlanta, then we go from there.
Oh, boom. David said we sold most of our allotment. What is our allotment? I guess I have no idea. There's 4, 6. How many teams are in that regional? 6 or 4?
4 games, 8.
8 teams?
Yeah, 18. Yeah, 4 games. Yeah.
David knows. David, we just need an estimate.
Shout out to Samford Education, 4 times 2, 4 teams, 8.
350. Okay, that is nice. If we just had 300 people there, all right? So if we didn't sell out all 350, we would just had 300 there. That's going to be audible from the television. And it's going to certainly be audible to the players, which is really all that matters. I mean, Kansas is going to have some fans, but you got to think Salt Lake, it's far for everybody. And there's probably going to be mainly locals, people just going to enjoy the tournament. And no one's going to be cheering for Kansas.
So how many family members, relatives, cousins, friend of a friend's does at the Jones family, Ryland Jones's family, how many people are they going to bring?
Hopefully 100.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. There's going to be a lot of Ryland Jones fans.
Yeah, literally everybody you shook hands with Ryland, you needed to invite them to the game to cheer for Samford. Basically, like everyone you've ever do since you were a child, like we need them there to be loud.
Dude, I don't know why we haven't done live before. David, I love the comments. Like, it's so great to have not a conversation, but a little bit of feedback as we go. Exactly. The people are going to be hyped. Right across from the bench, he says, it's going to be, especially start making some threes. People start getting, Achor gets a block. Dude, if Hunter Dickinson comes out, tries a little post move, and Achor blocks him, sets the tone. And then, look, we've talked about Kansas's X factor. This is maybe a hot take. Riley Allenspach as our X factor. Because I don't know if he's stronger than Achor, but he looks stronger than Achor. There looks to be more meat on those bones.
Yeah.
And he's not quite 7 foot, right? But as the season's progressed, his defense, especially against some of the top bigs in the league, has really improved. And it's a giant step up to All-American Hunter Dickinson, 7-footer. But he can do it. Oh, we got Daniel. We got Daniel in the chat. He said, Sam, what are your thoughts on Samford's defense? Their 3 grade is great, but can the D keep up? Daniel, our hope and prayer is in
That's the question.
Kansas not wanting to drive the ball. If we play physical enough to keep them from driving, force them to take mid-ranges, force them to take threes, then we can definitely win this game. But if we get Mercered, if we get a guy who's just hell-bent on driving to the hoop and then dishing off to Hunter, if we slide over on help, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a long night. But physicality is the key there, just to keep them at bay. Make them think twice about driving into the lane. Jermaine might need to be the enforcer tonight.
He had the extension of that too is rebounding, right? We've talked about over the whole year at Samford and the struggle on the defensive rebounding edge. And that's something Buggy talked about post-game after, I believe it was the Mercer opening game, SoCon tournaments. Like Achor was like a man possessed out there, basically. He's
insane.
Feeling like every ball is his, every rebound he's gonna rebound like it's like his life depended on it, like it's gonna be last. That's something that the whole team's gonna need, really, especially we talk about Dickinson, who's 7'2", KJ Adams, who we haven't mentioned, is 6'8". He and Jermaine are kind of be like my favorite thing to watch for those two go at it and see who can stay on the floor more. Johnny Furphy also 6'9", so they got a lot of size and length compared obviously to Samford's guard. So if Samford can keep it close to the rebounding total as well, that's something to watch for going forward.
Oh, if Kansas doesn't slaughter us on the boards, that's another indicator that we'll win the game. Yeah. Let's play this clip, Grant. See if it works. This is all first time
live
on this platform live. But I hate pre-game trash talk, but I also love it when it's coming from Jermaine or Achor. So let's play this clip. We're going to need confirmation from the chat that this is heard. So here we go.
I know me personally, I know the way these guys think. We don't think that anybody better than us. We feel like every time we're on the court, we supposed to win. And I don't feel like it's an upset. I feel like we're going to win, and when we win, it's not going to be a surprise to us. It might be a surprise to all the brackets that are going to be messed up, but it definitely won't be a surprise to us.
I feel like what you put in is what you get out. And we put in a lot of work for months. So us winning this game, no matter win or lose, I know we're going to ball out hard as we can. And that's what really matters, to be honest.
All right, so Grant.
I answered it exactly how I would answer it.
Oh, it keeps going.
Yeah. That was my favorite part from Achor, where he caught himself from saying something else. We're going to play hard. We're going to play hard. We're going to keep going. I just died laughing when I heard that first. I was like, oh, yes.
David, that was the best part. It may be surprised all the brackets that we mess up.
Yeah.
But Grant, let's be real, man. On the other side of this, we just created some serious bulletin board material for a Kansas team that is limping into this game, looking for any kind of inspiration to overcome some difficulties. We saw on Twitter that some fans were a little shy. They had seen some signs that the team was not necessarily in the right mindset.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How do we feel about giving the bulletin board material?
I mean, that's kind of Jermaine like Jermaine being himself, right? He's not gonna sugarcoat anything. He's not gonna be like, oh gosh, we're just glad to share the floor with somebody like Kansas. We're just glad to be able to play like them and hope if we play hard, maybe we can win, maybe we can't. It's like, no, he's gonna say no. Exactly what he said in the clip. He's gonna say something to the effect of, we're not an underdog. We don't think the term upset. We're here. We're gonna come prepared to win. That's something you will love to see from a guy like Jermaine, who's obviously been the heart and soul of this team. So I think there's a little bit of that, but he's not guaranteeing a win, obviously, from what you see it.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Kansas reporter, you cut out like the first part of the clip where he talked about going into that, but nonetheless.
Great, let's be real. We don't care about the Kansas reporters. We care about the Furman Twitterverse. In about a week, if we lose this game, this will be played nonstop until we wax them in football. But all right, so we got 6 minutes before tip. Let's end it here, Grant. I need a prediction for the game. Who was our leading scorer and a prediction, final score or halftime prediction? Because we will be going live at halftime. Hopefully winning.
Yeah, quick update. We got a 9:20 tip now, so we go.
Oh, a 9:20. Oh, we can
it's
show
9:20 point. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay, because I saw 10:05 on the CBS ticker about 20 minutes ago. But all right, so 10:20 tip.
Yeah.
Okay. We can keep on rolling. What did Jeb? I wish Jeb was just in here, but he is getting some awesome little moments. Man, I'm so jealous. I love that. One, you and Jeb are at the SoCon tourney, representing the podcast, representing the only media outlet that talks about Samford sports every week and every sport. We kick off SoCon baseball tomorrow against VMI. Dogs beat Jacksonville State on Tuesday. It's a great game. Bullpen didn't give it up. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going in, because at the moment, I'm not even joking, we have one of the worst bullpens in the country statistically. But back to basketball. Love that y'all were at the SoCon tourney. Love that Jeb is at the NCAA tourney, or as our brethren up north say, tournament.
Gosh, that's not right. That's just not what Seth Davis said on the selection show. We're gonna play hard in the tournament. I said, no, not tournament. What are we doing?
Yeah. But it's just it's a proud moment for the pod. Yes, David, Kansas does need more time to prepare. They got to find somebody that can shoot the three consistently, and they got to let Hunter Dickinson rest up that beat up shoulder.
It'll be interesting to see how many minutes Dickinson does play, because we don't know. Obviously, he's been practicing, like Bill Self said yesterday. We just don't know how healthy or effective he will be. And Kansas doesn't go deep, even without McCullough being out. They only went 8 deep. So it's just a matter of what guy who hasn't played a lot of minutes, like Parker Braun, backup center, is going to be playing a lot more minutes with, especially if Hunter can't go. It's just how does Samford's depth push Kansas to the brink, especially in a little bit of altitude? Can they wear them out, wear them down in the second half, especially if Kansas has to play those main guys? Well, like they always do, like 30 to 35 minutes, especially playing against us style of play like Samford, like they haven't seen before.
That is true. I mean, I've just pulled up the Cincinnati stat. The minutes is wild. KJ Adams played 33 minutes. DeJuan Harris, 37. Johnny Furphy, 32.
37.
Marco Jackson, 34. Yeah, almost the entire game. Nicholas Timberlake, 26. Jamari McDowell, 23. And then it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about top heavy. And that is one thing. I mean, I could be wrong here. I think UNCG had the most, maybe Furman last year. I don't know about Furman this year, but UNCG, possibly Western, had the least utilized bench in the conference. Don't quote me on that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But it feels, especially UNCG, and those are teams we torched back to back, right? And you mentioned the altitude. We kind of joked about it in the Selection Sunday show. But it's a real factor. Now, it's a real factor for us, too. It's not like Birmingham is 3,000 feet in the air, but or above sea level in the air. But you got to think a team that plays 12 guys, 13 guys consistently, right? Like game reps for every one of those players. Come the tournament, that
Tournament.
we're going to execute on average at a higher level than the guys that they're going to be sending in for 2 to 3 minutes. Even though I said earlier that those guys on the bench very well could win Conference Player of the Year in a league like the SoCon. Well, that's a little aggressive, but a team like Kansas, maybe they could. And that may be the difference.
Yeah, and per KenPom, Kansas is 317th in the country in bench minutes. Like we keep bringing up, Samford is third in the percentage.
That is absurd. That is absurd. Yeah. What did you say? 300 and what?
317th in the country in bench. The bench plays 23% of the game compared to Samford, who is third in the entire country at 44.8 percentage of minutes played by their bench.
I mean, it makes a little bit of sense then when you look at Kansas's season as a whole. They showed really high highs, right? Number one team in the nation at one point. They also showed lows, like losing. Now, Cincinnati had a fine season. They didn't make the tournament. I can't not say it now, Grant.
So stop it.
But they lost by 20 to Cincinnati, right? Now, that was without Dickinson, and that was without McCullers. So that's kind of their floor. You add Dickinson back in the mix, it gets a little bit different, but they're just so hard to gauge. They've played so inconsistently these past few weeks, and the injuries, it's a little annoying. You almost wish they're at full strength so you knew exactly what we were going to get. And then mentally the guys would probably prepare at a higher level because they would know that, hey, we're about to get Kansas's best shot. And Jermaine said that. Jermaine was like, I'm bummed that McCullers out. Like these guys are competitors. They want to play against the best. And it adds a little bit of mystique to the Kansas lineup that's going to come out here to see how they play.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people were picking Samford when they saw this matchup before McCullers was officially out. They just didn't know the health of those two guys, and Samford's kind of been a trendy pick. I saw one sportsbook tweet like 60% of the money is like on Samford after the news of McCuller went out. So something to that effect where other people are pushing Samford money line. Samford money line right now is plus 240. Kansas is a 7.5 point favorite right now. That line the spread hasn't changed as much, but a lot of the money has been on Samford in the last couple of days. But going back to at the minutes for Kansas on Samford's side, we really need a chore to keep playing like the amount of minutes he played over the SoCon tourney. He played 27 against Mercer, then 32 against Furman and ETSU. And that's also combined with staying out of foul trouble. One, how does he defend Dickinson? Because we're going to need him out there for, again, those 30 to 35, maybe somewhere over those minutes. So it's a matter of how much does he play to go against Dickinson, because otherwise you may see some Zach Loveday out there. We just need to throw another body at Dickinson if he's going off.
That's true. Do you think that a chore is just going to mirror Dickinson when Dickinson's sitting, a chore is sitting, and when Dickinson is out, a chore is out? Or do you think that coach is really going to keep shuffling in Riley for pretty long stretches against Hunter Dickinson?
Yeah, I'm just worried about Riley. Like we mentioned, the rebounding. He kind of he's a freshman. He hasn't been in the weight room as much, so he kind of gets pushed around a little bit down there. Big reason why he only played 7 to 10 minutes maybe against ETSU. So it's just, I think we'll see kind of the mirroring, like you said. I kind of favor that more, like when Hunter sits, a chore will go. It's just a matter of, does Hunter play 30 minutes? Does he play 20 to 25? We just don't know that.
And frankly, I mean, if we're getting enough offensive output from the guards, I think you can get away with putting Loveday in there to just be the giant obstacle for Dickinson, right? If we aren't scoring offensively, I don't think Bucky's going to sacrifice offense for defense in this game because, I mean, let's face it, the only way we win this game is if it's a boat race. If Kansas grinds this game down, it might be close. Like, look, if Kansas grinds this game down, it's going to be close until the end. It's going to be a lot like what we just watched Texas, Colorado State, that was kind of the epitome of a grinder. But you get down to the last 5 minutes, and basically the team with the better big man wins because all of a sudden within 5 minutes, whoever can score more efficiently is going to win the game. And it's so much easier to have a big man like Dickinson put in a layup, put on a little hook shot over and over and over than it is for AJ or Jaden to necessarily drain a three or even a chore to make a move on 7-2 Dickinson. I'm excited. I think the nerves have kind of left
Okay.
I think now I'm just excited. We'll see when the tip happens, right? That's kind
Yeah,
of
that's exactly what I was gonna say. We'll figure that out when the ball is tipped. I'm sorry. When the ball is tipped, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
dream opening. Here we go. Win the tip. Rylan Jones gets it, dishes immediately to a wide open Jaden. Drano. We immediately press, turn the ball over. Jermaine dunks. 5-0. Samford is going to win the game right there.
Oh, yeah. Kind of the same way we felt in the ETSU matchup when a Chore threw down that dunk. Like, okay, we're time to play. I think ETSU did the Bill self timeout, where it was an 8-2 run. Then they called back, made it 8-8. So I think if they get, like we mentioned, momentum quickly on their side, that'll settle our nerves for sure. Like sitting over here watching the game on TV, but still, I'm just excited to see that a Chore Dickinson matchup. Can a Chore get him out of the paint, get him to the top of the key, and make him move around a little bit? Maybe get him in foul trouble, because if he goes in foul trouble, Braun, their backup, he's not that skilled offensively, so that would be big. But that'd be big if a Chore can get Hunter kind of out of the paint and kind of get moving and kind of maybe find his way to get Hunter in some foul trouble.
We need to get Kansas's scrubs on the floor as much as possible.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do that, but love this. A Chore just hit 4 threes in a row from the logo. Someone is feeling hot tonight. Dude, if a Chore comes out with a man on a mission, let's think Culloway early in the season goes off for 30 in, 18 minutes? I mean, it was something insane. Yeah. That would be a game changer. Forget having to play 30 minutes. If a Chore scores that efficiently, Samford will win, or at least have a chance to win the game. And
he has been hesitant shooting the 3 a little bit, so I think if he can just let it fly and maybe make that first 1 or 2 gain some confidence like he did in pregame warmups, that'll be a good start too.
That's true. Before I forget, and we'll announce this at halftime, and like I said, if we win during our post-game show, but Whammy is we're doing a Whammy giveaway.
Okay.
Special March Madness. Look at the ticker below. You got to follow Whammy. This is what you do to enter for a chance to win. Mitch is giving away 3 bags. 3 bags of beans, baby. You follow Whammy Coffee on Instagram, and then you tag them with your favorite mug on an Instagram story. And you are then entered for a chance to win 1 of 3 bags. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't know how to make an Instagram story, but if you do, I feel like you have a pretty good shot at winning. And it's really good coffee. I'll keep that going just for those that do like to post on the old Insta. Might as well just enter for some free coffee,
It's one of the oldest things you said as a 28-year-old. I don't know how to make an Instagram story, but we'll figure it out.
Like, I know the button, but so when we were figuring out the podcast, right, how to put it on Instagram Live, I didn't know if I click the story, if it just like shows me live on the phone. I didn't know how that worked, so I did not click it. Needless to say. So I still don't know how to do it. Let's get back to the game.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for I cannot wait for the halftime show. 1, if it's close, obviously. 2, I just want to hear from Jeb. I want to hear what it's like to be on the ground in Salt Lake. Jack Gold in the comments, baby. Yes, we do need a Samford win. Oh man, that's tough. A Kentucky fan. I kind of pegged Jack. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of assumed you were like a Tennessee fan, but the real question is Cal gone? Has Cal been fired? It's 10-12. We're about 20 minutes past the upset. Is Cal still the head coach of Kentucky?
At least let him answer some questions first. Well, I don't know if they'll let him, because other coaches have been fired before they've gone to the podium, like Jared Hass from Stanford is like, you're fired. And like, I'm going to go talk about the game we just lost. You just fired me?
Dude, yes.
We had Dan Monson for Long Beach State coaching in the tournament after he was fired. And then the AD today was like, well, I did that just so to put a fire under the team. It's like, what are you talking about?
That's Bush League is what that is. All right, we got 7 minutes. Nervous energy is back.
Yeah,
Grant,
it's back.
Prediction for halftime score, leading score at halftime.
Hold on, let me check my heart rate real quick. Hold on.
You got your Apple Watch.
The game hasn't even started, and I'm sure I got a high BPM. But I think Samford will have Good Lord. 120 BPM right now in the game. Hadn't even started.
Holy moly.
yeah.
You need to take a deep breath, Chief.
That we need those nitroglycerin pills that John Rothstein talks about. Because that's a real tweet. I think Samford will have like let's say 32-30. I think it'll be close. Kansas will do Kansas things. And from watching a lot of Kansas games, they'll have a slow first half. Maybe they'll be down 7 or 8 or half. And then if you let them get going in those first 4 minutes, like when they go out to a run, the game's going to be over. So you got to find a way to, one, have that lead, and then two, slow Kansas. We'll get into that more at halftime, but that's just me from watching a bunch of Kansas games. So I think Samford will have like a 2-point lead going into the half.
If we have a 2-point lead going into the half, I'm feeling really good, Grant. Halftime show might get a little rowdy if we're winning at halftime. Yes, Dr. Steve, 41-38 halftime. I'm here for it. Daniel, yes. The comments on Instagram do not pop up on here. Don't know why. There's a shortcoming with StreamYard. I don't know. This is our first time on here. It's pretty sweet though. That is one shortfall. But all right. So
what
was the score again? What was your halftime score again?
It seems low scoring now that I keep thinking about it, but 32-30, Samford.
32-30. We ain't winning that game. 32-30.
That's why as I think about it more, I'm like, oh gosh, that's probably not good if we only have 30 points at halftime. 32 points at halftime.
I'll give us a better shot. I bet it's 40-35 half. We hit a 3 at the end to go up. It's close back and forth. We had a 3 at the end to go into the locker room. And I think on the brightest stage, our best athlete shines, Jaden Campbell, leading scorer at halftime. I think he comes out man on a mission. I loved his Andrew Wiggins comment, fellow Canadian, channeling some energy against Kansas. I love it.
Yeah.
So we'll see everybody at halftime. I hope this ends the stream. Going to find out. Please, friends in the chat, text me if the stream does not somehow end and we have thought it's ended. But go Dogs. We will see you at halftime.
Let's do it.